In my line of business, I run into two types of investors. One that doesn't know enough, and two, this is the interesting one that knows too much. They're the ones that read all the books, listen to the podcast, spend Sunday evenings deep in Reddit threads, debating the merits of factor investing versus pure index funds. They know the difference between a Sharpe ratio and a Sortino ratio. They've run back tests, they've read white papers. They have a spreadsheet, maybe two, likely three, tracking their portfolio's performance against various benchmarks. And yet, despite all of this, or more precisely, because of all of this, I find the second type most often feeling completely overwhelmed. 17 funds across 3 different brokerages, 30 different individual stocks, at this point, not sure why they own them. And when asked what their investment strategy is, they have to take a deep breath because they're still trying to figure it out. This, unfortunately, is the irony of modern investing. Today, we have far more information than we had ever before. We can look up anything in a microsecond. Yet, we still feel completely lost and overwhelmed. Well, that is what I want to tackle today. To make the argument that if you actually want to be a successful investor, you don't need more information. You actually just need the right information so you can design the only investment portfolio you'll ever need. So let's get right into it. But just in case you're new to the channel, my name is Tay from Financial Tortoise, where we learn to grow our wealth slow and steady. To kick this off, let's first talk about the enemy sitting across the table, us. Every year, a research firm called Delbar publishes a report called a Quantitative Analysis of Investor Behavior. What it does, year after year, is track the actual returns earned by the average equity fund investor. Not the fund itself, but the actual human being putting money in and taking money out. And compare those returns against the S&P 500 index over the same time period. And the result have been very consistent for decades. Over the past 30 years, the S&P 500 has returned roughly 10% annually. The average equity fund investor over the same period has returned somewhere around 6%. 4 percentage points might not sound like much, but compounded over 30 years on a $100,000 portfolio, that gap is the difference between ending up with $1.7 million or $600,000. Over $1 million gone. Why? Not because of a bad fund, not because of high fees, not because of bad luck or bad timing, or the market that didn't cooperate. No, primarily because of behavior. More specifically, our behavior. What studies consistently show is that average investors often make the worst investment decisions at the worst times. They bought when the market was rising and confidence was high. They sold when it was falling and fear took over. They switched strategies after a bad year. Then they read an article that convinced them that their allocation was wrong and made adjustments. And what is worse is that each one of those decisions, if you ask this investor, would tell you, felt entirely rational in the moment. They would tell you, the information was right there. The market was too hot. That is what all the news were saying. So I sold. Or everyone was saying these companies were the next big thing. I didn't want to sit on the sidelines. So I bought. But as data would show, most often, simply doing nothing, not touching our investments, would have actually yielded better results. There's actually a story in the investment circle, though difficult to pin down a single source, that Fidelity once did an internal review of its best performing accounts. They wanted to know what separated the top performers from everyone else. What they supposedly found was quite interesting. The best performing accounts didn't belong to superstar investors. No, they actually belonged to people who either were dead or had forgotten they even had an account. Essentially, portfolios without people to mess them up ended up with the most money. Whether the specific study actually happened or not, we'll never know. But we know this. The principle it illustrates is backed by decades of real academic research. The investors who did the least tend to end up with the most. Bottom line, the single greatest threat to your financial future is not inflation. It is not fees. It is not a market crash. It is actually you. A version of you that logs into your brokerage account at 11 p.m. on Tuesday night and start making changes because the news on Strait of Hormuz is making you nervous. Alright, so you might be saying at this point, I get it, Tay. We are the enemy. We shouldn't let our emotions drive our investing decisions. That all makes sense. But then what investment strategy should I have that I can feel confident in leaving alone? That I can build today, automate, and then leave alone for decades without feeling the need to change it? Well, great question. But before we get into the specific portfolios, let me step back and talk about the key characteristics that your portfolio must have. The key portfolio characteristics of the only portfolio you'll ever need in your life. From my perspective, your forever portfolio should have these 3 main characteristics. 1, it must be simple. which means it is straightforward, easy to understand, and easy to manage. In the world of investing, complexity is the enemy. Why? Because complexity attracts tinkering. It subconsciously makes you think you need to continually do something with it. Thus, you want to opt for ultimate simplicity. So simple, you have no temptation to touch it. 2, it must be broad, meaning diversified as much as possible. There is an inherent risk that comes with investing our money. Why? Because we're essentially betting on the future, an unknown future. Well, in that world, the only way to mitigate risk is via diversification, spreading our money as much as possible so no single future outcome breaks our plan. 3, it must be cheap. Nothing eats into our returns more than high fees. So your forever portfolio must be designed with cost in mind. And the good news? Thanks to firms like Vanguard, there are tons of low-cost investment vehicles that are readily available to individual investors like you and me. Now, are there portfolios that meet all these criteria? Simple, broad, and cheap? Great news. There are actually many more than you might think. But I don't want to overwhelm you with options. So let me share with you what I consider the top 3 portfolio options you can choose from. The first only investment portfolio you'll ever need. The target date fund portfolio. If you want to do the absolute minimum, one decision for life and be done with, the target date fund is essentially where this conversation begins and ends. Here's the entire strategy. You pick the year closest to when you expect to retire. If that is 2055, you buy something like the Vanguard Target Retirement 2055 fund. That is the decision. One fund and done. Inside a single fund, you'll find a complete, fully diversified portfolio. US stocks, international stocks, domestic bonds, international bonds. Allocation carefully constructed by people whose entire professional life is dedicated to exactly this question. As of today, a fund like Vanguard's 2055 Target Date Fund holds roughly 90% in equities and 10% in bonds. An aggressive allocation, appropriate for someone with 30 years until retirement. But here's what makes the Target Date Fund really great. The allocation will not stay at 90-10. As the years pass and your retirement date approaches, the fund will automatically shift away from stocks and towards bonds. This is called the glide path. More stocks when you're young and can weather volatility. More bonds as you approach the years when you will actually need to start withdrawing from your portfolio. You don't have to rebalance. You don't have to log in once a year to adjust your allocation. You don't have to remember to do anything. The fund manages all of it, decade after decade, on a predetermined schedule. And the cost for this level of service is surprisingly low. Vanguard, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab all offer target date funds with expense ratio in the range of 0.08% to 0.15%. On a $100,000 portfolio, that is roughly $80 to $150 per year. For complete diversification, automatic rebalancing, and a glide path that evolves over time, that is a pretty good deal. But it isn't all roses and petals with target date funds. The main limitation is that the glide path is not customizable. The fund moves on its own schedule, regardless of your specific financial situation. If you have a pension that already functions like a bond, providing stable, predictable income in retirement, you may not need a fund's bond allocation at all. If your risk tolerance is higher than average, the shift towards bonds may happen earlier than you would prefer. The fund would not know any of this about you. However, for the majority of investors, I feel this is a completely acceptable trade-off. For the investors who want zero ongoing involvement, who wants to make one decision and have that decision carry them all the way through retirement, the target date fund may genuinely be the last investment decision they'll ever need to make. Alright, but let's say you want a bit more customization. Then what? Let's get into the next portfolio. The second only investment portfolio you'll ever need. The Total Market Index Fund. If you want just a small degree more control of your risk profile, the single Total Market Index Fund might be a great option. The concept is ridiculously simple. You buy one fund, and that one fund owns, effectively, the entire stock market. Every publicly traded company, across every sector, every market cap, held in a single position in your brokerage account. Now, there is one decision you do need to make, and that is this. Do you want the US market only, or the entire world? If you believe the US economy will continue to be the dominant driver of global growth over your investing lifetime, and if you're comfortable with the concentration that comes with that bet, a fund like VTSAX, the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, or its ETF equivalent, VTI, gives you exposure to roughly 4,000 US companies. From the largest household names like Apple, Google, and Nvidia, to upcoming small cap companies. If you would rather own the whole world, if the question of whether the US will keep outperforming international markets over the next 30 years is one you would rather not have to answer, a fund like VTWAX, a Vanguard Total World Stock Index Fund, or its ETF equivalent, VT, does exactly that. Today, approximately 60% US companies and 40% international, giving you access to not only US companies that I just mentioned earlier, but also competitive international companies like ASML in Netherlands, Samsung in South Korea, Nestle in Switzerland, and many more. Either way, you're holding a single position, and that is a huge benefit from a management perspective. Also, because both funds are market cap weighted, they adjust automatically as the market shifts. No need for ongoing asset allocation decision. The cost is also among the lowest available. VTSIX and VTI carry an expense ratio of 0.04% and 0.03% respectively. VTWAX and VT, slightly higher, but still quite competitive at expense ratio of 0.09% and 0.06% respectively. But I do have to warn you, this one fund strategy will take you for a wild ride. Because it is 100% equities, in a bad year, there will be bad years, you will feel the full weight of the decline. In 2008, the total US stock market fell by nearly 37%. Anyone holding this kind of portfolio watched more than a third of their portfolio value disappear in a single calendar year. Now, investors who stayed put recovered fully and went on to see substantial gains in the years that followed. But it does mean you need to have the ability to stick through the long run, both emotionally and mechanically. Personally, I think this is a good strategy for someone who is knee-deep in their wealth accumulation phase and has decades ahead of them. Why? Because there are very few approaches that rival this one for simplicity, cost efficiency, and long-term performance. Alright, but let's say you like the simplicity, but you still want more control. You feel a bit uneasy about not having bonds, and you're not sure about holding a market cap weight globally. Well, no worries, my friend. This is where the next portfolio comes in. The third only investment portfolio you will ever need. The 3-fund portfolio, or more famously known as the Boglehead's 3-fund portfolio. The name Boglehead comes from a community built around the philosophy of Vanguard founder Jack Bogle, probably the single most important figure in the history of everyday investing. The man who looked at the financial industry and decided that the most honest thing he could do for the ordinary people was to let them own the market at low cost rather than pay someone else to try to beat it. The strategy is exactly how it sounds. 3 funds. A typical allocation might look like this. 60% in a US total market index fund, represented by a fund like VTSIX or VTI. 20% in an international stock market index fund, represented by a fund like VTIAX or VXUS. 20% in a total bond market index fund, represented by a fund like VBTLX or BND. The US fund is the primary growth engine, the biggest stock market globally. The international fund ensures you're diversified beyond just the US market, and the bond fund acts as a stabilizer. When equity markets fall, bonds typically hold their value or rise. They don't eliminate volatility, but they can help to mitigate it. What this portfolio gives you, above all else, is the ability to tune your own risk level. If you're approaching retirement and want more stability, you increase the bond allocation. If you're 28 years old, have decades ahead of you, and can stomach market swings, you decrease it. The framework remains, but the allocation belongs to you. The cost here is also very modest. VTSIX carries an expense ratio of 0.04% or 0.03% for the ETF equivalent, VTI. VTIAX runs slightly higher at 0.09% or 0.05% for VXUS. And VBTLX comes in at 0.04% or 0.03% for BND. One thing to note, this portfolio does require a bit more hands-on work. Occasional rebalancing, bringing your allocation back to their target percentages. But this shouldn't take you more than a few hours a year. The Bogleheads community has been stress testing this approach for decades through every market environment the last half-century. The dot-com crash, the 2008 financial crisis, the pandemic of 2020. And the portfolio has held up well across all of it. For investors who want more control than a target date fund, but still wants to keep their portfolio simple, the 3-fund portfolio is an excellent option. And if you want to test out your own 3-fund portfolio before committing to it, to see how your money could grow, I have a free gift I want to share with you. It is called the 3-fund portfolio visualizer. You can plug in your own allocation across US stocks, international stocks and bonds, and it will show you the historical performance, the annual returns, and how your money would have grown over time based on your specific mix. It takes about 5 minutes, and it has a way of making the whole thing feel far less theoretical. I'll have the link in the description below. And if you want to go deeper than a single video can take you, if you want to seriously take greater control of your finances, come check out the Financial Tortoise community, a private membership community where we help you turn what you just learned into an actionable financial plan. However, in order to maintain the experience of the community to the highest quality, I only open enrollment a few times a year. So if you'd like to be the first to be notified when doors open next, join the waitlist at financialtortoise.com/community. I'll have the link in the description below. Alright, so far I covered in detail a lot about different investment strategies you can pursue. But here's something I want to say, even though it is not that exciting. The portfolio you choose matters far less than most people think. Let me talk about the part that actually determines your desired outcome. The single biggest driver of your long-term wealth is not whether you pick VTI or VT or 3-fund portfolio over a target date fund. It comes down to these two things: contribution and consistency. One, with contribution, a person who contributes more into a simple target date fund will almost certainly end up with more wealth than someone who contributes nothing into a perfectly optimized 20-fund portfolio. Math does not reward elegance. It rewards input. This is a key reason why boring financial habits such as living below your means and savings can have more of an outsized impact on one's wealth than any fancy investment strategy. And two, with consistency. This means consistently contributing year after year, regardless of how the market is doing or what the headlines are saying. The data is clear on this. Investors who stay invested and continually invest through the thick and thin come out winners in the end. And the most powerful tool you have to keep yourself consistent? Automation. Set up automatic contribution so you don't need to remember or manually act. This forces consistency whether you like it or not, and your future you will thank you for it. Yes, selecting the right portfolio is important. However, at the end of the day, how much you contribute and for how long matters more than what strategy you select. As the saying goes, behavior eats strategy for lunch. Thank you guys for watching, and if you find yourself wanting to simplify your portfolio but are tangled in a complex portfolio, I think you'll find this video helpful. How to declutter your investment portfolio. Until next time, all the best.